This video will provide you more information about what to expect at a supervisor visit meeting. Your supervisor will be the person to observe you at your clinical site. They will provide you with a syllabus at the start of the semester, which will have vital information for success for the semester. Your syllabus, along with your manual, is a great first resource to check when you have a question. You want to utilize those resources along with your collaborative partner, morning and rectangular table meetings, ReggieNet resources, your cooperating teacher, and your module notes. Do check in with your supervisor if you are still unsure after consulting those resources. Your syllabus will also be the place to check well in advance of any supervisor visits to verify you have all of the needed materials for that visit. For example, if you look at your syllabus, you will see each visit outlined and the materials your supervisor will be checking at that visit. For example, I look at my first visit and I know I will need to have all of the materials listed here available. It's important to have all of those materials at the start of the visit. They should be available to the supervisor without them having to ask for them, look for them, or talk to at a later time. Some supervisors may even provide you with a specific folder or spot they would like the needed visit materials to go. You will see at the end of each visit a statement reading the level of independence must evidence steady and advancing independence as the semester unfolds. The level of independence impacts your performance, disposition, and your final grade. This is very important, and as you see, is expected to increase as the semester goes on. An increased level of independence should be found. In preparation for each supervisor visit, your supervisor will schedule a time and date they will be observing you. Approximately every 2 to 3 weeks, you will meet with your supervisor. It is your responsibility to notify your cooperating teacher about when your supervisor will be coming in. Be sure you have prepared everything in advance of this meeting. Your supervisor may communicate with you via email, and there may be times that you have questions for them or for your coordinator. When emailing anyone, please be sure to use respectful, professional, clear messages. If messaging your supervisor, you will also want to CC your coordinator on the email. You will then want to address who you would like to respond, your supervisor or your coordinator. So you are sure to get an emailed answer. Please respond to all emails sent to you within 24 hours, even if you are simply acknowledging that you have received that email. At your visits, your supervisor will be observing a lesson of you teaching for around 30 to 45 minutes. Please already have your designated spot where your supervisor can sit already set up with your materials available there, much like this visual shows here. Your supervisor should be able to enter the room and know exactly where to go without having to ask anyone. You will need to always have the instructional plan you are teaching from and any materials for the lesson you're teaching available for your supervisor to see. You will also have a post-conference at each supervisor visit. This may take between 1 to 2 hours, and you need to have secured a private meeting location before your visit for your privacy. This means if we need to talk about sensitive matter, we have a location other than a teacher's lounge or the classroom or a hallway to do that in. Please be sure you leave a sub-plan for responsibilities you have or may be missing while you are conferencing with your supervisor. Your supervisor will also speak to your cooperating teacher at each visit. They should be allotted 10 to 15 minutes and privacy to talk as well. Be sure to take the responsibility and initiative to see what you can do for your classroom during this time. Your organization of all your materials, your readiness to review your essential applications progress, your preparedness with your paperwork and questions, and openness to receiving constructive feedback are essential to effective and purposeful conferences. Your ability to evidence these behaviors speaks to your professional disposition. At each supervisor visit, you need to have your materials organized and readily available to review while you are teaching. Your supervisor may have a folder they would like you to leave with materials specific to that visit. Be sure you have the field-based manual, forms notebook as shown, including all of your instructional plans done 2 lessons in advance and dated and signed by your CT. You will need all materials and instructional plans for that lesson, your project progress binder with any pre-plans or applications that need to be discussed, and your weekly data and CT reactions. You should also have your module notes in case they need to be referenced, and your midterm and final rubrics or goals when applicable. Pre-planned materials need to also be readily available at the visits requiring those. You will receive points at visits 2 through 7, which will be placed in your SED 390 gradebook. Those points are assigned to your CT weekly reaction forms, where you have reflected with your CT on that week, your weekly data reflections, where you have reflected on your students' performance, and your forms notebook, where your ongoing planning and organization are assessed. A few reminders that are important in regard to your supervisor visits. Your visits are at your supervisor's discretion. They may ask you to have a slight variation of what has been outlined here. Please do always check in with your specific supervisor if you are unsure or needing more information. Pre-plans are required at some visits, and failure to complete them concurrently and or failure to evidence meaningful and substantial advancement of each supervisor visit will adversely impact you. You need to either be able to speak to or have written answers to all prompts and have the supporting documents and evidence needed at your visit to earn your pre-planned points. Self-advocacy, timely professional communication, and the ability to access multiple and varied resources at the independent level is expected. Please keep a copy of everything. This is your responsibility. Grades related to supervisor visits, again, will be housed in SED 390 for your reflections, reactions, and ongoing planning, with pre-planned points placed when applicable to the corresponding course of that pre-plan.